Hello everyone and welcome back to Sandy's 13 Frights Before Halloween, Week 3. Oh my gosh, if you have not been following along, please check out all of these wonderful crafty ladies and all of their Halloween makes. Some great items out there. Don't forget, we'll be bringing you new project shares and tutorials every Monday for 13 weeks. Now let's get crafting. So here is my project. I created Halloween fry boxes. I had so much fun creating these, you guys. This is the first time I've ever created a fry box, and I just had so much fun. I could have kept going. I'm going to take away 2 of these, and then we'll go through them one by one. So here is the first fry box that I actually made, was the witch's cauldron, and I even put in some goodies into the fry box to just demonstrate that you can use this with a bag that has a bunch of goodies in it, or you could just put your goodies directly into the fry box. Now, if you notice here in the back, we have some witch's feet sticking out of the cauldron on the front, and then I put in this little sign that says, "Get me out of here." I thought I would throw in a little fun there, and I am loving this so much. So let me take out the sign. This is a garden pick from the Dollar Tree. And then I inserted a little baggie here that I got from the Dollar Tree and filled it in with some green iridescent little fillings. But you could definitely fill that with candy. I just didn't have any on hand. So the fry box itself measures at the widest part 3 3/8 by 4 1/4, and with the witch's feet it measures 6 3/4 inches tall. I found a fry box template online that I liked, and I incorporated that into Cricut Design Space, and then I searched for images that I liked. I welded those images to the fry box template, and then I cut it out as one whole piece. And then of course I cut apart the fry box, making additional pieces so I could add more to the design. So basically this was created from one template that was free online. I'll have that link down below for you, and using Cricut Design Space. But you could easily recreate this by using embellishments, chipboard pieces, anything that you might have, die cuts, and adding those pieces to the fry box. You don't need Cricut Design Space to do this. So on the front here, I added a glitter foam cauldron I got from the Dollar Tree around St. Patrick's Day time. So make sure you look for those then, because they're a great find for Halloween. I added some ooze on the top that I cut out using Cricut Design Space on 3 different types of glitter, just to get that dimensional effect. I had these like clear bubble gems, and I got those from AliExpress. I added those here to the top, and I just love how that really just added to the whole oozing. Behind that, in the fry box, I did add a backing of decorative paper there. We have some words, eek and boo. And then, of course, the witch has fallen in the cauldron and she's fully clothed. So I created a little skirt here. I sewed around all of the decorative paper, and I wanted it to have the skirt sticking out of the fry box. I just thought that was a hoot, so I included that there. And I added some green iridescent fringe to the end of the skirt, just for a little something. And here are the witch's legs and shoes, and use some glitter, orange glitter, to decorate that. On the sides, you'll see the spiderweb panels, because of course in the witch's lair there's spider webs, so I sewed around those pieces and added them on each side, and then I also used that same pattern on the back. So here is our next one. I went a little to the scary dark side, and I created a Headless Horseman Fry Box. Oh my gosh, I am loving this one so much. And this one is a little bit taller. So at the widest point, it's 3 3/8 again, but it is 4 1/2 inches tall, the fry box. And then when you add the pumpkin, I'll go all the way up here to the top. It is 6 3/4 inches tall. I added some black cardstock on the back that had words on there. Of course, I did some sewing again, and I added some plaid cardstock behind the face of the pumpkin. I strategically placed it, and I love how the eyes turned out there. So eerie. And on the sides, I added black with gray dots paper and sewed on those as well. On the very front, we have the plaid pattern in the background, sewed around that. I didn't sew around the Headless Horseman because it was just so intricate and tiny that I didn't want to ruin it. So I did layer this up a couple times. So I welded the image first to the fry box, and then I added the orange glitter, and then I added the final layer was this decorative paper. I'm loving the pattern that I used there. So cool. On the inside of the fry box, I actually had this dark paper in the back, but you really couldn't see the whole effect of the Headless Horseman, so I changed it and added some of this kind of creamy color. I thought it would go with the pumpkin in the background that has this Halloween banner here going across, and that has some orange glitter on it as well. And then again, strategically placing the plaid paper. Look at the eyes, they're just so cool like that. So I really like this now. You can really definitely see the Headless Horseman. You know, he's looking for his head. He saw the pumpkin. Didn't he use a pumpkin for his head? Maybe that was the cartoon version. I don't know. But I just put these two together and love how that came out. Now I talk more about the different paper collections that I used, as well as how I use Cricut Design Space in the tutorial coming up. And then here is our third fry box. This one is smaller than the other two. This measures about 3 1/8 by 3 3/4, and then when you include the monster, it's 6 1/4 inches tall. So we have our monster on the back. I used some silver metallic there for the eyes. I love that I did black here, but there's purple text in there. Like, you know, he's just opened his mouth and he's screaming. He's in the neighborhood. Look out for him. On the sides, I added some bat paper here. And I didn't sew this one because I wanted to show you that it didn't need to be sewed. It's just an option. And then here in the front, I added these cute little trick-or-treaters from using Cricut Design Space, layered them up about 3 times just to give them the right thickness, especially since I have images hanging off the sides of the fry box. I wanted them to be sturdy. I added this little eek sticker here. It actually glows in the dark, so how fun. The monster's in town and the kids are screaming eek. And behind them, I have some more of that town neighborhood paper. I love that. And then, of course, we have our shaker monster on top. Super fun. And again, I did it where the shaker has a design in the background. So he's opened his mouth, he's screaming, and you can see the candy in his stomach. Now, I layered this monster frame about 7 times, black cardstock and then decorative on the top. And then I did the same thing for his little horns. These are layered up 7 times each. I wanted them to be the same height as the monster. And I am loving it. Oh my gosh, these were so fun to create. It's just like I created one for Papa, Mama, and Baby. So fun. So I hope you enjoyed this week's little Halloween treat, and that you'll stay around for the tutorial that I have following this video. But if you can't stay, thank you for joining me. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future videos. For those that can stay, let's move on to the tutorial. Open your Cricut Design Space and go to New Project and then click on Upload. You're going to upload the fry box template and hit Complex and Continue. The first thing you need to do here is to remove the background, and then you want to hit Preview because there are lines around the template. I'm not sure why. And then you want to go ahead and erase those lines as well before moving forward. Once all the lines are gone, apply and continue. You want to hit print, then cut so that you continue to keep the lines that are on the fry box. And then insert that into your canvas. The first thing I did here was to size it, and then I added score lines where you actually see the lines on the template. Now for the bottom of the box, I put score lines straight across, even though you see that they're a little curved here. It actually helps the box stand up a little bit better. So that's how I did it, but you could certainly do it the curved way if you want an authentic fry box. After all the score lines are placed, I then hid all of the score lines and made it a cut image. And then I just colored it white and then brought back in the score lines and attached them to the template. Once I have the template all scored and in the right size and everything, I do make a copy of it. I always like to have a backup. So I just set that one aside. I'm not really going to be working with that one. The next thing I want to do is go out and find my images. I did a search and found a monster that I liked. And then I incorporated that into the canvas. I do use the overlay feature to create a solid background of the monster so that I could use this as a shaker. Here I'm just cleaning up the image by taking away some of the open spaces using the contour feature. And then I also use that image to weld to the fry box. Now it's really important that when you're welding items to the fry box that you unclick the score lines so that they're not visible. Otherwise, you're going to lose them when you do your welding. And for the center of the monster's mouth, I took that out from the actual image, and then I used the contour feature there as well to get rid of all of the candy bits that was in that image. And where I wasn't able to use the contour feature, I then ended up using the shape feature to fill in some of those areas that needed to fill in the mouth. This does take some time to do, but in the end, I really like the result. The next thing I do once I have all my pieces is to use the shape feature again to go into the fry box and cut off pieces that I want to use as layering pieces. Now you could easily just cut out the fry box altogether and then cut your pieces down. That's easy as well. But I just went ahead and created mine on Cricut Design Space, and then that way I always have them whenever I go to make a fry box in the future. Just remember to remove the score lines before doing any of that. So I completed this same process for each of the 3 fry boxes that I created. For this first fry box, I'm using Simple Stories, and this is the Spooky Nights collection. Just using a few items from there, mainly the paper. And then I'm also using this paper from Happy Haunting. It is the 4x6 element sheet, but I was able to pick this up at Tuesday morning, and it just had like 25 of the same sheet. And I love the cutouts, but I really loved having all this spiderweb paper. So those are the 2 items that I'm going to be using, along with some black cardstock. I'm using black soot distress oxide, a little bit of ribbon, some glitter paper, and I used one of these cauldrons. They're foam glitter cauldrons from the Dollar Tree. This is out at St. Patrick's Day time, and I picked it up for Halloween. So I'm using one of those. And the glitter paper that I picked up is from the Dollar Tree as well. The first fry box that we're going to create is the one with the witch's feet coming out of the back of the box. This one was so fun to make. And you're going to need to cut it out on kind of a heavyweight or medium weight cardstock. And that's what I've done here. I use my Cricut file to cut this out. Okay, now what we're going to do is start putting the rest of the pieces together. And I have them all here on the side. I've even gone and sewn around some of my pieces here, just to give it a little added something. And I'm not, let's see, I guess we'll start with the back piece. So I cut a piece out to go here. If you're using the template, the best way to get these additional pieces is to print and cut it out once, and then print and cut it out again, and use that one so that you can cut apart these sections. And then you're going to cut them just a little bit smaller than the original size to get your layering piece. Okay, now I thought it would be fun to actually have a skirt for the witch. So I found a skirt in Cricut Design Space, and I cut this out, and I'm going to put it upside down since, you know, she's in the fry cup. It's cracking me up. And I'm going to add some of this fabric that I had. The Robert Stanley collection. I think I probably got this at Hobby Lobby, but it comes like this, and what I did was just cut one side of the fringe off, and then I'm going to use this around the bottom of the skirt just to add a little something right there. Okay, so on the back of the skirt, I just added some score tape here. Should have added after I sewed, not before. All right. And now I'm just going to put this in a random spot and kind of work this around the skirt. Luckily, there's a wire in here, and it moves really easily to however you want it to be. So I'm just bringing it down right where the edges of this fold. Because I just want it to peek up over the top. I am cracking myself up. Oh my goodness. Now I'm going to just kind of take this and flip it to where I have the front of the box at the top. This is where I'm going to put the cauldron. And then I also, from Cricut Design Space, cut out some ooze to go over the cauldron. I thought that would be fun. Oh, here it is. Missed it. Something like this. It's a lot of layers. I think that's going to be so cool. I'm going to put this piece behind to stabilize these, because these are from the Dollar Tree, except for that one, and they're pretty flimsy because they're glitter paper. So I'm definitely wanting to put this on first. I am concerned about the little leggies on the cauldron. I'm not sure how that's going to work when we stand this up. So maybe we should go ahead and glue this together. So really you just fold in on the lines that you see in the template. And I'm not sure if there was a line at the bottom of this, but there's should be one here that you just fold up on, and then at the bottom of the front, just fold up on that line. Sorry, I don't have the template in front of me. We're going to bring the two sides together, and you would think that you would just put them together like this, but you don't, because then it bows the bottom of your fry box. You want to adhere these kind of like that to where the fry box is still flat for our purposes. And so it's kind of also stretches out the side of the fry box, which is what you would want. So I think I'll just add some glue here. So I'm going to match up the bottom. I'm just going to bring them together until the bottoms match, but don't cause this to bow, okay? Because like I said, if you put these all the way together in the back, this bows, and you don't want that. You want it to be just kind of where they overlap enough that the bottoms are flat together and the bottom is flat. Okay, I think I'm going to cut the feet off. And maybe even cut this flat across, because I don't want any cardstock showing. So I think I'll put this on first and then cut the bottom to be straight across. And I'm bringing it all the way up to the tops of where that bends over. Oh yeah, that looks good, because then it actually looks like it's sitting. Yeah. Okay, I like that. I'm gonna take my ooze backer piece and just add that just to the front and side. And then I'm going to layer all of my glitter pieces on top. I used a really thick, heavy cardstock for that piece. Okay, so that's the basis of the witch fry box. You will have seen any additional decorating that I'm going to do in the reveal. I'm actually going to decorate the back of the legs as well. And maybe a few more things I have in mind here. But now let's move on to the next one. For my next fry box, I'm going to be using my Mind's Eye Happy Haunting. So here it is. I've already gone to Cricut Design Space. I've merged my image at the top and at the bottom. Now this one is a little bit spookier than I normally do. Just had this crazy idea and went with it. And of course I have all my pieces. I've done all my sewing. Now I didn't sew my little man here because of all the delicate pieces. I didn't want to ruin it. So, as you know, this one is the Headless Horseman, and he's coming to get his head. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this probably without talking. It's basically the same way to put it together as I did the other one. So I'll see you on the other side. Now, I will say here I cut this out on black cardstock and then I cut it out on glitter paper, added these two together. Then I'm going to add this one, which I cut out on decorative paper. If you can see it, it's kind of neat pattern. And then I'm going to kind of offset these just a little bit to get some of that orange coming through. Yeah, that's going to look so cool. Okay. Okay, so there you have it, the Headless Horseman Fry Box. Oh my gosh, I love this one. That even looks spooky right there. So cool. For this next fry box, I'm using kind of a mix here of DCWV Spooky Halloween and DCWV Halloween Town. So again, I have all my pieces ready. For this box, I did not sew anything, just to show you that you can create these without sewing. You don't need to do that. It's just an option. And we're also going to make this one a shaker. So let me tell you some of the things that I did, and then I'll just start putting it together. For the monster, so this is a monster in the neighborhood where there's trick-or-treaters, and I cut this piece out 7 times total, 6 times in black cardstock, glued those all together. As you can see, it's about 1/8 of an inch thick. And then I'm going to put this on top after I add my acetate piece, which I just cut to fit the hole. And then I also did the same thing with the ears. They're so tiny. So I did that for 2 of them. Cut 7 pieces of green cardstock, glued those all together so they'd be the same height as the actual monster. So other than that, I think that's it. I'll just go ahead and start putting this together. And there you have the last one. I could have probably put more shaker bits in there, but I still like that we have that scene of candy going on in the background there. Super cute. I have totally loved creating these. So much fun. I hope you'll give them a try. Thanks a lot for joining me, and I'll see you next time.